Paddington is a cute and beloved icon in British fiction. He wears a large red hat and a sort of overcoat. That was the extent of my knowledge of this furry gentleman prior to the character's big screen debut back in 2014. By 2017, although I happened to see a few images in passing, I still hadn't seen Paddington in its entirety, nor its follow-up. But I heard teachers of mine at film school raving about these movies, primarily the sequel. While I certainly took notice of the astronomically high Rotten Tomatoes scores these bear flicks were pulling in. Well, 2025 commenced recently, and my procrastinating rear end still hadn't sat down to view even a frame of poor Paddington. Though, given the fact that while the picture was released in late 2024 in the UK, February 14th marks the North American release of Paddington in Peru, of which I was constantly reminded, a la a cinema standee. I was quite recently, at least subconsciously, urged to finally check out this now critically hailed trilogy. At last, a few nights ago, I viewed the 2014 picture, and I am pleased to report that Paddington is a genuinely phenomenal family film. The cast is marvelous, everyone evidently understanding the assignment. Nicole Kidman and Peter Capaldi, for example, are having a blast here in this stylized sort of live-action cartoon. James Bond alumnus Ben Whishaw does a lovely job voicing our lovable titular bear, whilst a collection of sensational Harry Potter alumni also get in on the fun, namely Julie Walters, who portrayed Molly Weasley, Jim Broadbent, who played Potions Master Horace Slughorn, Imelda Staunton, who utterly killed it in the role of the ruthless and malicious Dolores Umbridge, as well as the late great Michael Gambon, who took up the mantle of the late great Richard Harris's Hogwarts headmaster, Albus Dumbledore. Downton Abbey's Hugh Bonneville and The Shape of Water's Sally Hawkins round out this impressive cast beautifully, the pair being the human highlights of the flick, and the heart of it as well, alongside their eventual little chum, of course. They each bring such sincerity to their roles. The computer-generated imagery is perpetually wonderful, as these talking animals fit fantastically into their respective environments. The bloody brilliant direction and the consistently creative, whimsical, and versatile cinematography constitute a pair of elements that, without hyperbole, is of the truly elite sort. Paddington is a bit of a personal cinematic anomaly in that typically, when it comes to movies more so geared toward a familial viewing audience, those that are particularly high on my list of favorite films are particularly emotionally effective and profound, and have forced me to weep on more occasions than I care to admit. And although it is certainly heartwarming, this film did not deliver that gut punch for me, nor was it really trying to, and yet I found it to be nearly flawless. It's really quietly charming, it's excellently cohesive and sure of what it is on all fronts. This grin-inducing picture is about finding a home away from home and acceptance, open-mindedness. After my recent first viewing of 2014's Paddington, which was basically flawless, I was simply unable to fathom how in the world the 2017 sequel could be superior, which had been the anecdotal word on the street right around its theatrical release. Well, I instantly learned that the rumors were true. The sequel retains all of the wholesome charm from the original, while it somehow manages to be even more so visually enthralling. Much of the film's fantastic cast returns, notably Hugh Bonneville, Sally Hawkins, Jim Broadbent, and Julie Walters, who portray Mr. Brown, Mrs. Brown, Mr. Gruber, and Miss Bird, respectively. All the while, we're given some phenomenal additions in the form of Brendan Gleeson, who plays the initially curmudgeonly prison cook, Knuckles McGinty, and Hugh Grant, who portrays the picture's main antagonist, sort of psychotic local actor, Phoenix Buchanan. Gleeson and Grant, who are both clearly having a ball, are so admirably committed to playing within the charming and silly little sandbox that is this verging on cartoonish world of Paddington Bear, and I truly mean that in the utmost of complimentary fashions. I'm referring to the sky-high level of energy, creativity, and imagination. The plot is perpetually fun, engaging, and brilliantly simple and concise. While Paddington number 1 is a family comedy, number 2, which certainly contains both of those familial and comedic elements, and then some, is a mystery which ultimately develops into a fucking prison escape film, the mere concept alone being at the very least chuckle-worthy. In fact, there's like a 20-second bit taking place behind bars, which forced me into a 20-minute laughing/coughing fit. I'm referring to the masterfully crafted shot during which Paddington introduces the visiting Brown family to his jailhouse homies. This static medium wide is simply genius for a couple reasons. Firstly, there's the previously alluded to juxtaposition between a lovely little bear and a group of shabby veteran inmates. Secondly, the very particular choreography and shot composition bloody kills me. Paddington's initially alone on his side of the glass, but as he names his new mates, each of them goofily pop into the shot. It is so utterly silly and stylized. The unexpectedly extensive length of the bit also contributed to my split sides, though the specific moment that made me crack up most is when Mad Dog is summoned and greets the Browns with a fitting mean mug, accompanied by a literal bark. Like its predecessor, this feature gives us a titular character that is this beacon of kindness and purity and everything good in the world. He even transforms this gaggle of hardened criminals into a group of lovely and loyal chaps, just by being himself. It's also heartwarming to see each member of the Brown family's persistence in attempting to exonerate their fuzzy friend. As I somewhat mentioned earlier, this picture is somehow even more so visually creative and versatile when compared to the stunning 2014 original. There's this gorgeous scene taking place within a London-centric pop-up book. We get this awesome pencil sketch animation, even integrated into live action. We're given these impressive dynamic time lapses. We're even provided a fully fledged musical number performed in the big house, which is stunning and hilarious. Something with which I was unfamiliar upon entry into the cinema was the fact that Mr. Paul King was not returning to perform directorial and screenwriter-centric duties. But thankfully, the spirit and very specific imaginative tone carries over from movies 1 and 2. Paddington in Peru tells its tale through exceedingly creative and versatile creative means. The visuals are unsurprisingly gorgeous. The story is heartfelt and tightly told. It's also packed with effective callbacks. Now, I largely and deliberately avoided any sort of Paddington 3 promotional material as to not spoil any story surprises. For probably the first time ever, this strategy didn't entirely work in my favor. Sally Hawkins, to me, was a major contributor to the heart of the first two nearly flawless films, and so it was a bit jarring and a slight adjustment when I discovered mere moments into the movie that the integral role of Mrs. Brown had been recast. Emily Mortimer does a really nice job, certainly. I just wish I had prepared myself for the unfortunate lack of Hawkins. It's just, although it's been confirmed we're getting more of this character going forward, Paddington 3 felt like a finale in certain ways, consisting of a flashback or two to the very beginning of the Brown family's relationship with our titular bear, and I feel like those elements would have been more hard-hitting for me if Sally Hawkins was present for those moments. No matter what, I just can't be convinced that it was Emily Mortimer's Mrs. Brown that met the little lad at Paddington Station. Absolutely zero disrespect to Mortimer. She's evidently talented. It didn't matter if fucking 1999 Meryl Streep was cast in the role. It doesn't matter who it is, it just matters who it isn't, would be the best way to put it. That is a major reason that this movie is more of an 8.3 out of 10 great rather than a 9.3 out of 10 great, closer to my ratings for movies 1 and 2. That's genuinely how important I believe Hawkins was to their collective success. All of that being said, I think the Paddington team took the most sensible path in recasting the part rather than somehow chopping Mrs. Brown out of the tale entirely. That wouldn't have felt right. All the while I respect Sally Hawkins in her decision to not partake in the picture, given she felt that she had done everything she needed to with this role. While Hugh Bonneville's Mr. Brown and Julie Walters' Miss Bird return as film highlights, the aspect I got the biggest kick out of was our brilliant pair of cast additions, entertainment icons Antonio Banderas and Oscar winner Olivia Colman. Like the acting royalty that has come before them, namely Hugh Grant and Nicole Nicole Kidman. These two understand the assignment. They're both wholeheartedly committed to playing within this rather wild and wacky world, and it's a blast to watch. Hunter Cabot is this charismatic but conflicted adventurer in regard to what his true priority is, the pursuit of ancient treasure or his love and devotion toward his daughter, while the Reverend Mother is hilariously suspicious and ultimately a fucking wild and nefarious woman. All the while, we're provided a spectacular mid-credit scene, which, spoilers, stars imprisoned actor Phoenix Buchanan, when our titular bear, alongside his fellow tribe members, visits Hugh Grant's colorful character. We're not only given a recreation of my favorite visual comedy gag from movie 2, we also get this fantastic bit of dialogue centered on Buchanan's pitch of a Goldilocks and the Three Bears prison performance. With this 2024 flick, we simultaneously switch things up in that we travel abroad, while this threequel brings things full circle and feels like a final chapter in multiple ways. And I alluded to this earlier, right around Paddington 3's theatrical release, a forthcoming Paddington 4 was announced. I have no idea where we go from here, but some of my favorite stories are those unexpected ones I never knew I needed.